What's up, everybody, and welcome back to After the Snap. I'm your host, Tasha Pierce, and I was having some technical difficulties, so I am setting things up just as I speak. And yeah, this bites. Let's see. Doop doop doop. I hope everybody's having a good day. If anybody's out there hanging out with me today, yeah, it's just it's an ugly day outside, and I'm okay with rain. Rain, but it's cold too. It's cold and rainy. And as for me, those two things don't make for a pleasant Saturday. This would be a day that is just me as well. And I am trying to I'm trying to get a show together, y'all. I apologize for not being 100% prepared. I guess I was until I wasn't. Oh gosh, I guess I was until I wasn't. Let's see. This is the one. I got stuff files all over the place too. It's just like it's not neat. But if it wasn't rough, it wouldn't be me. I think things look in a way now that I can understand what I got going on. And today, boy, it's like bad news. I guess this is just what kind of week, this kind of news cycle that it's been in where, as far as the seriousness of some of our world news, it kind of takes precedent over this entertainment stuff. So it's like it's hard to get in the mood to be chatting this kind of stuff up when we have this serious crisis over in Ukraine. And I'm not going to stay on this for long, but it would be, I guess it would be kind of irresponsible to not say anything about it, especially given that I feel all the feels about the situation, and we uh we just need to touch on, I guess, not so much the situation, because you're getting that in a 24-hour news cycle. Not so much the situation itself, but how we're dealing with it. How are you handling yourself in the midst of a world crisis? This is not the time to stop taking care of yourself. You got to still look out for your own mental health. And sometimes, honestly, sometimes we don't even know that we're going through a thing. That kind of crazy, huh? We don't know when our senses have been overloaded. So um before we get into any of our entertainment news, I want to share with you a few things. I'm not being bossy. This is taking it from somebody who is pretty much struggling right now with this. Just because I'm thinking too much. So because I'm thinking too much, I know I'm not alone. There is somebody else out there who is ruminating on these situations. And unless you are directly involved, you got to take time to pull away. Um, So when you're scrolling because of anxiety, so we, we all feel some kind of way about this situation, but some of us carry it uh, in the form of anxiety, and I am somebody. So the things that I am trying to implement during this very, very uh, serious, I guess, crisis. I guess I keep going back to the word crisis. Uh, I have to remind myself that I want to prioritize my connection with my loved ones. I haven't been good about that this week. I will not lie. Um, but when things are heavy, until I have lightened the load just a little bit, I don't be wanting to burden people. Sometimes I feel like that because uh, I'm made to feel like that, and sometimes it's my own thinking. But that is something that I have not been doing. I am asking you to make sure you do, though. Prioritize your connection with your loved ones. Curate your social media feed. Stop with the doom scrolling, and we'll get more into doom scrolling in the next slide. But curate it. Block some terms if you must. Block some people if you must. Stop the retweets so that you won't see retweets over and over of the same article. Do things like to protect your own mental health in this situation. Download a meditation app. My meditation app is, I hate to say it, Spotify, Google Podcasts, one of those, because I listen to podcasts and I will listen to, you know, nature sounds sometimes. I can't sleep with that on, but I can move about the house with that going. Anything that'll quiet your mind down if you are like me. Synchronize a Netflix movie night with friends. I call my Netflix movie night with friends Stream Something Sunday. So, Stream Something Sunday is what we do over here on After the Snap on Sundays. We are watching certain shows and we have a discussion about those series. That is my Netflix movie night with friends. And I don't know what I would do without Stream Something Sunday. That is my favorite time to chat with you guys. Uh, Create a feel good playlist. Watch the best of Ted videos. Get into that. Uh, Mind is real busy, and mine is like that. So if your mind is real busy as well, then TED Talks. Gosh, if you got to be up and you got to have thoughts flowing, it might as well be something interesting and maybe educational. Build a virtual bookshelf on Goodreads. That's a good thing. And stay informed without overloading. Those are things that you can do if you are feeling anxious about these situations. But then we were talking about doom scrolling. So, doom scrolling and doom surfing are new terms. And those terms are referring to the tendency to surf or scroll through bad news, even though that news is saddening, disheartening, or depressing. Give yourself permission to step away, step away from your devices for a little while, or step away from, like I said, this 24-hour news cycle. Step away from that unless you are directly involved, um, or you have family loved ones who are directly involved. You're not going to be doing an awful lot, but hurting yourself mentally by constantly feeding yourself this this bad news. These are things that I want you guys to pay attention to when you are consuming the news. When you're consuming the news, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling sad, that is one thing. You should feel that and then let it go. If you can't let it go, you're ruminating on it. And if you're ruminating on it, it can turn into an awful lot of other things. Stress, you can become overwhelmed, you can become nervous, exhausted, irritable, anxious, all of these things. If you notice yourself feeling a deep despair or panic about what's going on in the news, it's time to unplug and possibly seek for some help. because it's easy to get overwhelmed when so much is going on in the world. So protect your thoughts. Protect your thoughts. We are also listening to what's going on over in the Ukraine. The TV channels are now showing back-to-back news coverage, and there are no commercial interruptions in their news coverage. They are basically trying to see how the resistance is holding up in the Ukraine, and we really, I wish the best for the people of the Ukraine. I can't imagine having um, an all-out attack on your soil, on your homeland. Um, it's just not something that I could even fathom. So, yep, well wishes, beautiful thoughts, prayers going out to the universe and to the people in the Ukraine. Speaking of which, we got to talk about Joy Behar. Joy Behar, earlier this week, boy, she really stuck her foot in it. And, the fact that she even said what she said is so disheartening. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, she said exactly what she was thinking. This is what she felt like was important in that moment. The other ladies, she and the other ladies on The View were talking about the situation in the Ukraine with Russia invading. And while people were voicing their concern for the citizens of Ukraine, Joy Behar said she was scared of what's going to happen in Western Europe too. And here is the egregious part. You plan a trip, you want to go there. I want to go to Italy for 4 years and I haven't been able to make it because of the pandemic. And now this. It's like, what's going to happen there? Are you freaking kidding me, Joy? Read the flipping room. I'm sorry that this war is inconveniencing you. This silly, silly little news cycle is inconveniencing me, and I'm not able to go to Italy. And I mean, she says she's been wanting to go since the pandemic, so the pandemic kind of got in her way as well. I don't, I don't like the implications of that. It just makes me think that Joy is in the clouds, that she doesn't know what the every person is dealing with their, with as far as being this close to the ground where things are happening, knowing people who were involved, uh, just plain old being afraid of what could this turn into on a global scale, because it could turn into something. And I said I wasn't going to doom talk, so no doom talking, but it could turn into something far worse than where we are at right now. And to me, I don't think that it's yeah, I just don't think some of these people need to shut the hell up. Just if there's selfishness, and if that's how you feel, that the only person whose feelings that you can recognize, or that you even care about considering, are your own, then shut the hell up. Just shut up. I don't want to hear no apology. I just, at this point, just please stop talking. Please. It's getting, I don't know if these people are stuck in an era that no longer exists, and we keep placating them by pretending that we're in this time. This is not the time to think about you. This is the time to think about the greater good, uh, the best for humanity. But Joy want to go to Italy, so there's that. She's been wanting to go there since freaking Trump was president, probably since Obama was president. I don't know. it was just a very selfish thing to say, and I can't say I'm surprised. People start to lose touch with reality, which is how normal people, regular people live on a day to day. When they lose that touch, they lose the sense of empathy. And when they're not pretending at empathy, this is what you get. This is what you get. And then and uh, I guess it's worth talking about, and I'm a little off. I'm sorry. It's a crazy week, and I'm not in a good headspace. But Helena Hutchins, her husband, described his reaction to that Alec Baldwin interview. And I guess this was kind of news to me because the person who is most visible at times, they get all of the, oh, such a bad thing that happened to Alec Baldwin. And we have to remember that there is an entire family behind Helena Hutchins, and they are not as visible as Alec Baldwin. And the only person or the only people that we should really be feeling bad for are her family, her friends, and loved ones. So for Helena's husband to ask the question, are we really supposed to feel bad about you, Mr. Baldwin? It kind of it kind of shamed me. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, or if you would be honest enough to tell me. But it kind of shamed me because I found myself kind of relating to Alec Baldwin in this situation a little bit more than I should have. I kind of felt like, oh God, how terrible it must be to kill somebody. Not thinking that there's somebody, how terrible it must have been for the somebody who passed. And I'm not saying that anybody else had this had this type of feeling towards Alec Baldwin in the beginning. I'm saying this is how I felt. And I'm sure I'm not alone. I might just be the only person who will admit that uh I'm shocked at my own thought processes behind this. While I did feel an abundance of sympathy for the family, my empathy went to Alec Baldwin. And to be quite honest, he's the person who pulled the trigger. This family is not trying to see Alec Baldwin sit on television and pretend to be a victim, and but at the same time he doesn't take any responsibility for what happened. Now I know that there are legal reasons, especially since Helena's family is suing the production team of Rust, which includes Alec Baldwin. When that family is suing them, I understand that there is a legal side to things where he cannot just outright say, "I'm sorry," but he needs to say something or say nothing. You know, you're getting the court of public opinion on your side because you're powerful enough to grant an interview to somebody and sit down and tell your side of a story where her family is suffering in silence. Now, in this interview that Helena's husband had uh, with Hoda, and I can never say her last name. That's why I always say just say Hoda. Her husband said, watching him, speaking of Alec Baldwin, I just felt so angry to see him talk about her death publicly in such a detailed way and then not accepting any responsibility after he just described killing her. Hearing him blame Helena in an interview and shift responsibilities to others and seeing him cry about it. I just feel like, are we really supposed to feel bad about you, Mr. Baldwin. And that is one way to look at it. Because honestly, and I'm being honest with myself and with you, I sat and I thought, well, shoot, it was a heartfelt interview, and Alec Baldwin is getting out in front of this thing. I didn't want to look at it like it was spin. Spin when you see it. And I should have seen it there. I didn't watch the entire interview, but to even have watched a couple of scenes of the interview, I should have been able to recognize that it was spin. It's the same thing that we saw Travis Scott do with the Astro World situation. He did it poorly, though, and it was just spin. He's trying to get out in front of the story. The story has gotten away from Alec Baldwin now. Now it is time to think about the family of Helena Hutchins. Think about all of what they have to endure moving forward without their loved one. And yeah, I feel bad. I feel bad that I did feel bad for Mr. Baldwin. No more. No more, I say. And speaking of say, I'm like, say what? Have you guys been hearing reports that there's going to be, I believe, I don't know if it's a documentary or a docuseries talking about Jerry Lewis. Now, if you are of a certain age, you don't have any clue who Jerry Lewis, you may not have a clue who Jerry Lewis is, but he was a very, very talented comedian and actor. And he passed away, I believe that was in 2006, if I'm right. But he used to do the Labor Day telethon. That was what he was known for muscular dystrophy. So Jerry Lewis is an icon. And here we are, years after his death, of course. There is going to be a short film uh, and this feature in Vanity Fair's Hollywood issue, where a number of Jerry Lewis leading ladies, the female co-stars, and many other aspiring talented actresses allege that the so-called king of comedy sexually harassed and in at least one case sexually assaulted them. And I cannot, it was one thing. I it was one thing when we have Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby is still here to answer to these allegations, to answer to the uh the allegations that have been levied against him. And he had his day in court. He lost. So Bill Cosby, that's one thing. But then you're pulling Jerry Lewis up. You're saying Jerry Lewis now is this huge sexual predator, but we're not hearing about it until years after he's passed. I'm not saying that these ladies are not telling the truth or that they don't deserve to tell their story. I'm just not sure how I feel about telling a one-sided story when this person is no longer around to clear their name. So while I want to give some vindication to the women who allege that this happened to them, it's like, well, what if there is another side to the story? Are we even interested in knowing what Jerry Lewis would say? Is there anything that could prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that what these women are saying about him are true? Um, it's just like, oh gosh, how they say never meet your heroes. I can't say Jerry Lewis was a hero of mine, much like I can say that about Bill Cosby, somebody that I looked up to. And then these allegations. Jerry Lewis is, whether you wanted to, I'm a product of the 70s. So whether I wanted to know who Jerry Lewis was or not, you're going to know who Jerry Lewis was, because on Saturday you're going to watch Jerry Lewis movies in Abbott and Costello and the Marx Brothers. So that's what TV was when I was a little girl. So whether I wanted to know who he was or not, I was going to know. And I came to appreciate his slapstick humor, his physical comedy, his timing, just impeccable timing, his quick mind. I came to appreciate all of those things. And here we are years after he's gone, talking about him in this way. Gosh, never meet your heroes, they say, and I am inclined to agree. So I'm going to keep my eye out for the little short film that they were talking about, and maybe even try to read that feature in Vanity Fair to see what these ladies are saying. But Lord, it is disheartening for those type of allegations to come out against another Hollywood icon. Real sad stuff. But instead of being sad for this next one, this is some happy news, because Questlove, along with Mick Jagger, they're putting out another docuseries uh, uh, about the life of James Brown. Um, James Brown, Say It Loud, is set for a 2023 release, marking what would have been his 90th birthday. Wow. It's going to explore Brown's legacy with interviews from family, friends, collaborators, and proteges, as well as his beloved music catalog. And it also includes never before seen archival footage of from his concerts and the such. So this is good news. I'm always happy for the biopics and the docu-series, because it gives me a little respite, a pull away from some of the more mundane stuff. Let me just teach me something for a little while, even if it's just learning about the life of somebody who, as close as you can be to the music, how far away we are as far as what we've had to endure throughout our lives. It'll be very interesting to see what else can be told about the James Brown story. And yeah, how Questlove and Mick Jagger bring this one to life. I know Mick Jagger had done a different film about James Brown, I want to say a few years back. It was a documentary, but this time he's working with the illustrious Questlove from The Roots, who's coming off of some success with a different documentary. Gosh, I wish I could remember the name of it. It's on Hulu. I know that for certain. That's where it can be found streaming. Gosh, I can't remember the name of that of that documentary. But yes, Questlove did that one, and it's been getting some acclaim. So this is the next project that we might be seeing from Questlove, along with Mick Jagger. And then we've got another biopic. That will be Sony's George Foreman biopic. It added some new actresses and an actor and an actor. uh, it added Jasmine Matthews, Sonia Sohn, who I've come to love as Michael Burnham's mother in Star Trek Discovery. Love her, love her, love her. John Magaro and Chien Montpremier. And I hope I said her name right. Chien Montpremier. I probably didn't say, I probably butchered it. She is a beautiful woman, and she's going to be in the George Foreman biopic. So I'm looking forward to that hitting. I want to say the big screen. Not 100% sure. I want to say that's coming out, not on a streaming service. Though. And then as we move on, remember that the First Lady, that anthology series that we've been talking about over the last few months, especially since we know that Miss Viola Davis is going to be playing uh, Michelle Obama. Michelle Pfeiffer is going to be playing Betty Ford, and Gillian Anderson is going to be playing Eleanor Roosevelt. So we've got those three mapped out. We can almost kind of picture it a bit in our minds now. So the question was, where will that anthology series go next? Take a sip of my water. I mean, we got plenty of first ladies to choose from, right? Um, but the creator of the creator of the First Lady anthology series saying that she wants to go someplace kind of fun next. And I don't know if when you look at any of these three women that's on the screen right now, um, do you think fun? I probably think fun more with Eleanor Roosevelt, Betty Ford, and Michelle Obama than these three. Uh, Jackie Kennedy Onassis, or Onassis Kennedy, um, she lost her husband to the presidency. Um, Hillary Clinton, she had a tough time with her husband embarrassing the family first and foremost. And I'm going to say it. Yep, he embarrassed the family, and she had aspirations, political aspirations that were partially realized but couldn't be fully realized because of I guess the time that we're in. Because it I think if we would have had the same election and pushed this whole thing 50 years down the line, things may have turned out different from her or for her, but because of where we are, the point we are in history, they're just not ready for a female president. They're not ready for a female vice president. Isn't that crazy? And then Melania Trump, I basically will say that out of the three of these first ladies, only one of them really wanted to be in the White House, and she didn't want to be there as the first lady. She wanted to run things, and I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad at her. Melania Trump never. I don't think she ever, in her wildest dreams or nightmares, I don't think she ever thought that she was going to be first lady of the United States. I don't think she wanted that level of scrutiny, responsibility. Um, yeah, she didn't. I don't think she wanted it ever. I think she wanted to continue to move the way that she had always moved. She she's she's married to a very wealthy man, or at least, I mean, depending on who you believe, at one time he was a very wealthy man. So she's married to a very wealthy man. So she's used to, maybe having a bodyguard or somebody. She's not used to whole security details. I think it derailed her life, the way that she wanted to live her life. And I think this is a story, if we kind of look at these three ladies, it's kind of like if you did put them in the same season of the First Lady anthology series, then you would say that these are women who sacrificed quite a bit for their husbands' dreams and ideals. The ambitions of JFK uh, made Jackie Kennedy, his ambitions and his stances on some policies uh, riled somebody up enough to make this woman a young widow. And then not only that, but to have him killed in such a violent fashion right in front of your eyes. She made a sacrifice. Her husband died uh, for that position. she sacrificed quite a bit. Hillary Clinton sacrificed her own political ambitions, playing the role of first lady. And albeit I'll say she was one of the brightest first ladies that we have, and she had political ambitions of her own. She sacrificed those by playing sitting in the back seat of her husband's presidency, even though she may have been instrumental in some or all of the decisions that he made. Um, she sacrificed her own. She could have run. Wouldn't have been as many scandals, I bet. I bet. And then again, Melania, who she was like, this is not what I wanted to be. I did not want to be first lady of the United States. Just not never something she probably even thought of in her wildest dreams. But here she is. So on April 17th, we'll be able to see those first 3 episodes. And then we'll be looking forward, I hope, to season 2. And maybe we will get these 3 first ladies who made such huge personal sacrifices to hold that esteemed position. Something to pay attention to. I'm zooming right through my slides, so don't mind me. If when I'm done today. If you want to slow me down, I'm fine. Make your comments in the chat, and we can turn this into a conversation. But I'm pushing through today. And then you can see here we got Andrew Garfield, who is Academy Award nominated for Tick Tick Boom, which, gosh, I just love it. Gave me an entirely new perception of Andrew Garfield, his talents, and yeah, I am really looking forward to seeing how much more he improves over the course of his career. He is doing great things, and I mean, not even just we're not talking about Spider-Man at all, at all. We are talking about that Tick Tick Boom, which I just love. There was another movie he had came out this year. I don't think I saw that one, but Tick Tick Boom, I did, and I loved it. Well, Andrew Garfield is going to be coming to your small screen. Yes, he is. He's going to be playing in a series, kind of a true crime series it's based on a true crime. It's called Under the Banner of Heaven. And in that movie, Andrew Garfield is playing a devout detective whose faith is tested as he investigates a brutal murder that seems to be connected to an esteemed Utah family's spiral into LDS fundamentalism and their distrust in the government. So, um, this is where we're going to see Andrew Garfield soon. They haven't given a date just yet, but Hulu is very proud to have this series, especially since the bankability of Andrew Garfield's name right now is extremely high, extremely high. Um, I am interested in seeing what this show is about too, simply because it makes me think, and I don't know who else is a true crime fan. It makes me think of the Lori Vallow Daybell case. So I'm not gonna like describe this case because I'm gonna find a docuseries or a documentary or something so that I can talk about it and it still be within the realms of my movies and TV and film and that. So yeah, I don't want to just go off onto a true crime, but this is a situation where it's Mormon fundamentalism. Kind of reminds me a little bit more of Warren Jeffs, and we talked about him last week because there's going to be a series about him and his wife on the run. I can't wait for that to come out. There are, of course, denominations and pockets in every religion that get a little extreme, but it seems like there are quite a few of those pockets, those extreme pockets of Mormonism or Latter-day Saints that that are popping up, and when they're extreme, they are crazy extreme. So the Warren Jeffs situation, when you think about how the LDS even started, I'm not going to go into it here, but it's a wild story. And then this Lori Vallow case, it doesn't shine the best light on these pocket fringe kind of LDS groups. There are other ones, Susan Powell. There are others. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this, and I just wanted to share it to make sure that other people knew that it would be on their radar, so that they can join me in watching Andrew Garfield. I will update when they drop a date for this series on Hulu. Now y'all know it wouldn't be the weekly wrap up if I didn't tell you about some kind of nostalgic comeback for a character. This time it's Alf. And I'm gonna read part of the article because I don't know if Alf's pop culture bankability is as high as some people think it is. Well, the distribution rights were acquired by Shout Factory, which plans a new wave of pop culture content tied to that 1980s. Uh, oh, what's up, Davina? Yep, Alf, girl. Alf is coming back. Tied to this 1980s sitcom, they believe that they can pump out all kinds of pop culture content surrounding the character. So, this sitcom from 1986 to 1990 was on NBC back in the day. And it's been acquired again by the Shout Factory. That company, in partnership with Alien Productions, planned to bring Alf titles to digital entertainment platforms in the US. And Lionsgate, which previously had rights, had brokered a deal for the sitcom to stream on Fox's ad-supported service, Tubi. I didn't know that was owned by Fox. Silly me. But that agreement ended last fall. Now, the deal was announced by Shout founders and CEOs Bob Emmer and Garson Foos. You said you loved watching Alf. So yeah, these people all they took part in the deal. Again, Alf is coming back. um, yep. I don't know what else to say. It's gonna be back, and I'm gonna at least watch one episode just for the sake of watching it. But I don't have high hopes for Alf in this day and age. Now y'all might feel something different. Let me know in the chat. You know how I can say I'm looking in my crystal ball, and it's not looking good for Alf. I am pretty much almost done. So pop culture phenomenon, hopefully. But speaking of pop culture phenoms, this is about to be. I think. Look, everybody come running in right now too, and I'm almost done with these slides. But if you guys have anything to chat about after that, I'm all ears. All ears. So speaking of pop culture phenoms, um, Euphoria is the most tweeted about show of the decade in the US. That's what Twitter claims. Of course, it is only 2022. We're only 2 years into the decade. And um, I don't know how hard it would be to catch them simply because we're only 2 years into the decade. We should give it a little time, maybe 5 years in, start talking about what show is the most tweeted about in the decade, because it's really not hard to be the most talked about show in the decade when we're only 2 years in. I might be being a little hard on the Euphoria. I think this is a Tasha's going to be hard on everything day. So it all starts from the beginning. If you were here or if you weren't here, um, at the beginning, I talked about how we could cope with this crazy news cycle, um, coping mechanisms and ways to protect your mental health. And I think that I waited too long to do it in some cases where I'm a little angry and fired up. And I think and I think it's showing in my commentary on everything that I've talked about today. I've been a little bit of a negative Nancy, except for the first lady thing. I honestly think yeah, I honestly think that it's attached to just consuming way too much about potential war. Oh, Reinhardt, you're saying you love it, but it's hard to watch. It is a show that is hard to watch. Um, yeah, it is not the. It ain't a walk in the park. You're either gonna love it or hate it. Probably. I don't know if it's a middle ground for for Euphoria. Um, yep, that was the end of my slides. I did want to say a special thanks to my patrons. I'm remembering to do this weekly, and I've been putting it in my videos as well. If you guys have not uh paid attention, I got two new movie review videos that I put up this week. One was for the movie. What was for the? Oh, one was for Sucker Punch, and the second one was for Kimmy. Kimmy is a movie that is playing on HBO Max. Clarence watched it. He didn't recommend it, but I watched it anyway. So I said, well, since I watched it, I might as well put out a review. So those two are available to you for your consumption at your convenience. But yeah, I'm gonna take the slides back to the. I'm gonna take the slides back to the stuff that I was talking about as far as protecting your mental health, because so I think all of us need to. I think all of us need to make sure that we're in a proper headspace uh, to be processing this crazy stuff that's going on in the world. Oh, I didn't even change it. Silly me. What was I thinking? What's that? What was I thinking? Um, Reinhardt said, as far as you were talking about protect yourself from this news cycle, 2 months ago, I blocked almost every single news channel, even ones that share the same opinion as me on YouTube. Maybe it just works for me, but I have felt so much more upbeat without all that negativity. And I agree. Now I I'm gonna keep the some of them, and I do like to hear uh more, I guess, moderate. Like, I don't really want to hear either side or either extreme of the news cycle. If it's real conservative, or if it's real liberal. No, I just want the truth. So most of the time for me, I'm reading news, and uh I don't read like the opinions. I read just the news piece. Just present me the news in such a way that I don't know what political leanings you have. I could care less. The Some situations are above politics. So but if it helps you to just freaking delete all news, just delete it all, all of those news channels, protect your headspace. I am in complete agreement with that. D said, yep, protect your mental health. Disconnecting is good sometimes. Yep. I can promise you this shit was going to be here when you come back. All of it is going to come back. It's going to be here when you come back. So, you know, I'm not going to hang out in that negative space. If you guys have anything that you wanted to talk about, since I zoomed through our content, go just have at it. Let me know what you think about anything. I'll go back through the slides. If you see something that you want to talk about, uh, let me know. Now, I've already covered, of course, everything, but if you got a question, comment, concern, hi Cindy Sue. You said your first live. Well, welcome to the show. Said, yeah, I agree. Everything so politicized. I can't take I can't take the view they make women look bad. You know, I think it's more or less they're being a little tone deaf at times. And I think that men or women could look potentially terrible when you're tone deaf, when you don't realize that what you're saying has an implication, or it might hurt somebody, or it might show you in an unflattering light, or people are not thinking. And it's not a man or a woman thing, and it's just a human thing, I think. Joy is in the hot seat. Let's go back to that slide. Joy is in the hot seat because she when they were discussing, I'm going to put this up like this. When they were discussing the situation going on over there in Ukraine with with you guys know what's happening. I don't have to explain what's understood. Yeah, so her thoughts were, I'm scared of what's going to happen in Western Europe too. Let me pull it up on my screen because I can't see. She said, you plan a trip, you want to go there. I want to go to Italy for 4 years and I haven't been able to make it because of the pandemic. And now this. It's like, what's going to happen there? And I'm thinking, she doesn't realize how freaking out of touch that sounds. So you're concerned about your vacation while there are people who are literally afraid for their lives. And this is how you know that people do not have any, uh, they don't have that person whispering in their ear telling them that you sound like a rich, entitled ass person. Reinhardt said, hey, I'm watching the Samuel L. Jackson and Maggie Q movie, The Protege. Pretty good so far. Okay, there might be something to check out for me. I'm doing movie reviews. If I'll be getting my nerve and then I'll do it. Cindy said, I really think we need to talk with compassion. Yeah, right now, this is not the time to be thinking about your freaking vacation. How how out of touch can you possibly be? There are people dying. And while I keep saying protect your headspace, y'all know I can't not know what's going on. So I am looking. I'm trying not to live there. But when I saw that, I'm like, you, if anybody else would have said it, and if she would have caught them saying it, she would have ate them alive. She said it. This is exactly what she was thinking. Um, this was not a misunderstanding. She said what she was thinking. I don't know why my yeah, she said what she was thinking. And if that's what you're thinking, When a whole country full of people who have done absolutely nothing but exist now have to uproot their lives and escape uh, this freaking despot over there in Russia. Shucks. What the hell is your vacation in Italy? What does it matter? Who cares? So yeah, I was really you know, just just inspect what you expect out of these people. If you expect them to understand and to empathize with you in in the position that you are in, whatever that position is, I think a lot of them fake empathy very well, but when it's time to really show who they are, you don't like it. Reinhardt said, I agree. That was very tone deaf. But I have to say, I think we're all tone deaf sometimes because I remember a lot of people being mad about the cruise we were going on 2 years ago getting canceled because of the pandemic. And I was like, the other people actually dying. So the cruise is not really a major thing. And yeah, the difference between us is, and I think people, depending on where you sit on the economic ladder, really, if you spent a couple $1,000s on a cruise, that is like, that's a lot of freaking money. You had to kind of save or set things aside to get money together to go on this cruise, right? I'm not saying that Joy Bear, just because she might have a little money, that she could go to Italy at any time, but she could go to Italy at any time. And that's what I don't. That's where it's different. It's not different. We are tone deaf at times, and all of us do it for different reasons. We can be tone deaf where we're forgetting. Um, some people forget where they came from, and you'll look at celebrities and you'll be able to tell some of them. And I'm not even talking about just celebrities. I'm talking about us too. Forget where we came from. We start, yeah, but she should have kept that to herself. That wasn't pretty. It wasn't a smart thing right now because she is being eaten alive. Yes, some of it is deserved after saying something like that. And yep. So shoot, yep. I don't know. I don't know what else you guys have got. I had moved through all of these slides because I really didn't talk very long about anything. And the reason why is because like I said, my headspace is I haven't been in the proper headspace myself. I haven't kind of last minute did my slides. Um Last night, yeah, all the way up until almost 11 o'clock, I was like, I'm gonna just cancel this show. Um, but then I was just like, I want to I want to be consistent. um, Especially now, just because sometimes the thing that a person is using to get away from that really negative news cycle, they're using stuff like me. And I feel a responsibility. That's the only thing I'm telling you. It is the only thing that made me come here today because I was like, you know what? Somebody else might just be looking forward to listening to me talk, and because I'm over here in a funky ass mood, don't mean everybody else is. So try to help somebody else. Reinhardt said, I was going to ask you a question, and I know you did see the Picard preview trailer. I was excited already, but now I'm majorly excited. What was your question, Reinhardt? You asked me whatever. So I didn't already ran through my whole show. So shoot. It's gonna be just whatever we chatting about now at this point. Yes, I did see the Picard preview trailer. Um he said, please don't stop. Well, I am going to talk as long as I'm being talked to. I am going to talk as long as y'all are talking to me. I appreciate that, Cindy Sue. But yeah, what did you see on the Picard trailer that excited you the most, Reinhardt? You know, it's a lot of it is going to be talked about tomorrow, but I'm trying to remember. You did tell me when the services for your father were, and let me go back into my, because I don't want to say the wrong. I know what I think. I know what I think. Uh-oh. I didn't even read your this was a long one that you said. You said the date for the funeral is going to be next Saturday. So the services for Reinhardt's father are going to be next week Saturday. Now what is this? Okay, I remember this situation you were talking about with the man with the cell phone and the with the cell phone in the movie theater. Oh, you said you loved a little part where all the actors talked about their characters and what we're in store for. I'm excited because there are some implications, and again, we know we're gonna do some time traveling. So, like, how is Rios or how is Rios on the Stargazer, and why does this Stargazer have a different ship number designation? Um, how does he have the Stargazer? There's another new trailer. Lysandra, are you talking about the one that came on during the Super Bowl? Now, if you're talking about the one that came on during the Super Bowl, I watched it. But if it was another one since then, I haven't seen it. I will need to I'll need to look it up and watch it if it's something new. Y'all excited for the Batman next week? I know I am. There have been a lot of first impressions of the movie that came out, and people who were lucky enough to be invited on, as far as the press goes, they are speaking very highly of this movie. I cannot wait till next week. Let me see what Reinhardt said here. Uh, Gosh, the brand new ship. I think this is in the main timeline. I think this is before they time travel, because if you see Rios and some of the other previews, he's wearing a really dark uniform. In fact, all of them are wearing really dark clothes. Not the standard Federation uniform we see in this trailer. Yep. You said, do I think the new Batman is going to be good? You know, from what I've seen so far, as far as the trailers, yes. Um, I try to temper my expectations because I've been hurt before about these movies, but this looks like it's gonna be really good. And then I look at some of the press and the critics who have been invited to early screenings. Those people are speaking really highly of this Batman. They said this is gonna be your new favorite Batman. Um, we'll see, because nothing has unseated Michael Keaton for me. I still love him, but I have a little affinity for each one, but my favorite is always the first, and it was Michael Keaton. Unless you want to go as far back as Adam West, then I can't say Adam West was my favorite, but he was funny. Reinhardt said, from the comments and reviews I've heard, they're saying it's off the chain, as the young people say. But in the UK, their rating system is different, and you have to be 18 to see it there. The one thing that it's getting that a lot of our superhero movies haven't gotten in a while is that Chinese release. So even if you have to be 18 years old or older to go see the Batman in theaters in the UK, they sent it to China too. That's a whole box office, a whole side of the revenue that Spider-Man No Way Home didn't even see. So I'm wondering if the word of mouth continues to be this good surrounding that movie, and if again we go next week and we add to that positive word of mouth, I wouldn't doubt that this thing pushes well past $1 billion. I'm not going to put it like, oh, it's going to catch Spider-Man No Way Home, and I'm not saying that, but it will pass $1 billion if the word of mouth is it continues to be good, and if this is really as good as they say it, as they are saying it is. We felt this way before. Sometimes the critics' ideas don't line up with the regular audience, but I trust those trailers too. And there was enough in the trailers to make me say, I'm super excited to see where this thing is going. And that a lot of it, I don't, we've seen a lot in the trailers, but a lot of it seems to be from the same little portion of the movie. I doubt that we've seen anything yet. I think that there's a lot that is left to be uncovered that the trailers didn't give us. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. You said that's why you like what's in the new Batman. That you was like what's in the new Batman that's that bad that they gave it 18 years old, and here it's still just PG-13. It might just be the heavy. I mean, we saw in the trailers Batman beating the brakes off of people. It's not like he's using gadgets and all that. No, 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 no. Batman beat the brakes off of whoever that was that he was talking. I'm vengeance. Yeah, that person got their ass handed to them. Maybe over there it's a little bit more important to make sure that it's adults who are seeing that type of content, because, and I know this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but like in the UK, they don't have the gun violence and all of that. Their violence comes with stabbings and beatings. So if people get mad enough at each other to beat one another to death, and you just see Batman, they're going to blame it on Batman. So I guess they want to, protect the community from the dangerous Batman. Oh, you said you were planning to see it opening weekend at the theater, but that's not going to happen now. Yeah, I'm sorry. I am definitely going to have you in my thoughts, though, I'm going to say while I'm watching it, but I'm watching it. I'm going on Thursday. Because, again, it kind of shocked me, and I haven't checked to see what it's looking like now. Kind of shocked me, even though I'm going to that early screening of Batman. Kind of shocked me that theater, like when I reserved my tickets, the theater was flipping empty. So I'm going to take a look see and see. Gonna take a look see and see if the theater is still empty as all get out, or or did people finally start buying tickets? Just being nosy for my own curiosity. Let me see. That is Thursday, March 3rd. Because when I first ordered my tickets, and see, when I first ordered my tickets, it was only 5 seats taken. I'm not used to that. When I get my tickets, I am so used to having to kind of fight for tickets. But then you look, this is my screening of the Batman, and all of the little gray spots are seats that have been taken already. Um, and then when I look at the rest of the theater, I'm like, this is an empty screening. I thought that it would be far more interest in seeing this movie than this. Um, now I know that if I probably look at a 7 o'clock screening, it probably will look a whole heck of a lot different. Let's see. I'm gonna look at a 7 o'clock screening. Look at it, it almost looks the same. I'm just shocked that people are not running out to buy the tickets. Now I'm gonna look at the late screenings and see what they looking like. Nope, nobody, nobody. So y'all see what I'm saying? Y'all better give this movie a chance. It's gonna take the word of mouth. If it's a good movie, it's gonna take the word of mouth of others to get people to spend their money like that, because this is disheartening to see a Batman screening with, and I looked at the 3 o'clock, and I looked at the 7 o'clock, and I looked at the nine something, and nobody is in the screenings. Reinhardt said, "My wife told me I should still go ahead and go Thursday, because once we get up to where my family is, there's not going to be anything going on that day. So we'll see." Yeah, you should. He said you saw all of the Christian Bale movies opening night. Well, you know what? It depends on how you feeling. But yeah, if you can and you're feeling up to it, I say go. But that's what I'm saying. Now, this is of course up here, Northwest Houston, where I live. It could be different as we get closer to downtown or whatever. But the movie, when I went to see Spider-Man, the thing was packed. Let me look at a 6 o'clock. I am just see, I can't believe. You know what? Yeah, Evan, that's the only one that's for the Batman. I was looking to see if it was in another theater and it was gonna be um if it was gonna be a like a 3D or something like that, where people spend a little bit more money and go to a different one. But this is the only one that's playing at. And it's just shocking to me that people are not trusting. I guess they're not trusting the marketing. Look at this one. Only one seats sold. That's crazy. Because what's going to happen is they're going to start canceling some of these shows if it doesn't make sense to have the theater open. I'm convinced that people are going to start buying the tickets later, after they hear a few regular people say, "Oh yeah, that was a good movie," because I think they just don't trust the franchise anymore. That's sad. And I can say for sure that my son feels that way. He's like, "I'm not running out opening weekend to see no Batman movie." And um I understand, because you think about it, the Batman movies that he that would be his coming of age movies would have been those the ones that featured Batman versus Superman and the Justice League, and and to be honest, he didn't like those movies. Even with me finding stuff that I could say, oh well, I guess that was well done, or I liked this about it, it left a very bad taste in his mouth. He's like, they should have left it at the. He feels like they should have left it at the Christopher Nolan movies. Then nothing will ever top that. And it doesn't sound like he's gonna give anything a chance. Now I'm gonna go see Matt Reeves, and if anybody can talk my son into going to see that movie, it's me. But I would have to be telling him something different. It could not be the same old stuff that he's heard already. But I am still shocked that altogether in like each theater, no more than 10 seats were sold. And when I say, I'm not kidding, when I say the thing was jam packed for Spider Man, it was jam packed. I didn't go, I went on the preview night for Spider Man and it was jam packed. I wonder what the look. I'm still just very concerned about this movie now. I wonder what the actual opening night looks like. It's still only playing in one theater, and it's not faring any better. Things still look the exact same. Here's one that's got like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. This is the most that I've seen. There's 17 seats sold. And this is the most that I've seen since I've been doing this little bit of just checking to see. Yep, this is the crowded, the most crowded. You know what? I don't know. You know, the Batman fans should last forever, you would think, as long as the franchise has been alive and well. I'm gonna keep my eye on this. You know I am though, because I'm wondering how much of this would be those people who said we're boycotting this movie, we're not going to see it. I wonder how much of this would affect this movie. Reinhardt said, "I'm looking at mine right now, and they only have 2 showings, 3 and 7 p.m. and it's in about 4 auditoriums. We only got 1 auditorium being used here uh, at this one that I go to usually, and it's just the more, I know that it is that people buy tickets on the same day still too, but I have never seen a franchise this big. When you go to pre-sales for the tickets, I've never seen it not sold, at least halfway sold out. These There are a lot of screenings, and I said it's on I mean, it's only on 1 auditorium. No, it's in 1, 2, 3 auditoriums. Yeah, it's in 3 auditoriums, and it is uh these. There's nobody going. There's nobody reserving seats. I'm not used to that. I'm used to opening night, big franchise. I'm not used to this. This is all different times. This is ridiculous. Then they got the late movie at 11:15, and nobody is in that one. And that's on a Friday. Wow. Reinhardt said ours is different because we don't have reserved seating, so it won't actually show you how many seats are sold so far. So yeah, see, this one here is definitely, you got your seats reserved, and again, this is the one that's closest to me. But even at this one, even at this theater that's closest to me, usually a opening weekend, a big franchise, if it ain't, it will at least be halfway full. Uh, Middle of what was the name of Delta? The Delta variant. When that Delta variant was kind of still rampaging, or it was coming off of its rampage, and Shang-Chi came out, right? Or did Shang-Chi come out before the Delta variant? Whichever way that happened. Um, Whichever way that happened, Shang-Chi, that theater was halfway filled. And they still had us socially distanced. So and it was still halfway filled. So I don't know what's going on with the Batman. You said, Tasha, they're saying in an article you just read that Batman has the second best pre-sale number since 2019, but we're not seeing it. I and I can look at other theaters that do reservations, but yeah, I don't know, man. Let me see if I can find an article that you're. Yeah, because I cannot believe that it really sucks like that. Let me see. Oh, CBR. I don't know if I trust them. I have to see it in a. I'll have to see it in a like a big. I would have to see a big. You know what I'm trying to say? A big publication with a little bit more of a, because it's always these small publications. They have an agenda, and like I said, I kind of like my news for everything right up the middle, and they have an agenda. If you like Batman, you're gonna say, yeah, it's gonna be the biggest opening ever, doubling Marvel. It said double Marvel's Eternals. I can believe that. I don't know where they buying these tickets at though. But oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm about to look in my Twitter. But yeah, the mm-mm. Let me read it in somebody else's newspaper. I don't like them either, Reinhardt. We got this covered people. They make stuff up too sometimes. Let's see. With the release due in less than 3 weeks, advance tickets for the Batman went on sale this Thursday, much to the delight of DC fans everywhere. Though we're not exactly starving for Batman content these days, uh, as can be seen. Oh, and it didn't even spell that right. I heard that. It really gets under my skin. As can be seen with how Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton are both in The Flash, folks are excited to see how debuting Dark Knight Robert Pattinson fares under the cape and cowl. In fact, they're so excited that the Batman is already performing exceptionally well at the box office. Box office analyst Charlie Jatender has revealed that things are looking positive for Matt Reeves' movie as the Batman has opened to the second best pre-release ticket sales of the pandemic era. The first is obviously Marvel's record-breaking Spider-Man No Way Home, which released last December. According to Jatinder, the pre-sales info puts the Batman on course for an opening weekend haul of around 110 to 140 million dollars. Okay, so it says, and I still don't know who Charlie Jatender really is, that you can quote him. Who did they say he is? Box office analyst for who? Charlie Jatender said the Batman is second best pre-sales start post COVID per limited data has sold more than double the ticks that Eternals did at the same time span. I don't know. I don't know, Reinhardt. If that were the case, because and not shitting on you, I'm shitting on this news source because they wouldn't be the only people reporting it, and the other people reporting it wouldn't be pointing back to them. So I'm looking for like something big like that. Deadline should have it. Variety should have it. Hollywood Reporter should have it. Shoot, this is just them. But we're gonna see because it says with more data coming in, the Batman sold roughly $8 million in pre-sales as of yesterday. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna see, man. Because I can remember the same thing. Yeah, I can remember running into the same issues when I oh, but this is pandemic era you're talking about. Pandemic era. So pandemic era is the 2 years in our COVID era, and the top one would have been Spider-Man No Way Home. And I don't know what the pre-sales would have looked like for any other movie, because I can't think of the only other movie that I could think of uh would have been, who had the big one? Venom, Shang-Chi, because they said they're tracking $8 million in pre-sales, and you can reasonably expect at least another 8 million if nobody is buying their tickets early. You can reasonably expect another $8 million, which would give them a $16 million uh opening weekend, which would be good. I think I feel some kind of way just looking at this small little fishbowl out here that is the theater that I go to. You know what? How about I look at a whole different theater? Um, there is another one. There's another one. I mean, of course, I'm not going to that theater, but it doesn't stop me from looking at the at where they're how many tickets they've sold. That'll give me an understanding of, is it just this area? Maybe this area that I'm living in is saturated with Batman fan. I mean, with Marvel fans, and they don't like Batman. So we got a Dolby Cinema surround sound out here, and I'm going to see if people are just taking a chance and watching it somewhere else. So let's look at this one together. This is Dolby Cinema. This is the Dolby Theater, and that's the first one at noon. And then this is the 4 o'clock. It looks a little bit better, but it's still not halfway full. Um, but they have several theaters playing it as well. This is oh Now this one is a 8 o'clock show on Friday, and this is the most full that I've seen it, and that's a Dolby surround sound. So the kids or the younger folks are probably taking their time, and they like we'll go and see it when ain't nobody else there. Now, that's the midnight show, and that ain't doing shit. uh, I probably should be trying to go to this one. Here's the IMAX. Let me see what IMAX is doing. Not much in the early show, but let's see at the 4 o'clock. But not the 4 o'clock show. The 3 o'clock show. 3 o'clock show, a little bit better. So okay, this is what I'm seeing. We're doing it. Bet more people are doing it IMAX or Dolby Surround, and if and it still ain't, it still ain't where it's supposed to be. These fucking shows supposed to be sold out, really. Well, look, y'all, I don't have nothing else, and if y'all don't have anything else, I'm gonna take off. I'm waiting to see though. I'm not gonna just run away. If you guys are still talking, I'll talk with you. I'm trying to see if y'all still got stuff to say. I will listen, and I will add my 2 cents. Yeah. But yeah, I ain't got too much. I guess I should be letting y'all know that you can subscribe for movie reviews, streaming series recaps, and discussions. And of course, entertainment news. What this is what we're doing here today. But tomorrow we'll be talking about Star Trek Discovery. We'll be talking about what else are we watching? Bel Air. And I made a promise that we will discuss Bel Air, whether you've seen it or not. So tomorrow is that day. Tomorrow is Star Trek Discovery. Tomorrow is Bel Air. And I know that there is something else that I'm supposed to be watching. Can't remember what it is. And then we'll be back here on Tuesday after that. So yeah, you won't get it. It's a lot of me for throughout the week. If you like these entertainment news style shows, we do another one in the middle of the week called the Midweek Meltdown, where we hit you with the middle of the week entertainment news. And yeah, but the stuff that the fandom shit, the stuff about superheroes and the movies and that sort of thing, you guys keep your eye open, because we drop in and just have freaking sessions where we're just talking about Marvel, where we're just talking about Star Trek. So it's a lot. It's a lot, yeah. But I ain't got nothing else. And I gave everybody a chance to say stuff, whatever's on your mind. Speak your piece. Speak your piece. Oh, and I guess I better mention that we have a dang, I don't never put the link in the show notes though. We've got a Discord as well. So if there's anything that we talked about today and you want to keep the conversation going, you could go on over to Discord, shake a tail feather on over to Discord. It's the After the Snap fam, and I love hearing from y'all. I got more contact with, or yeah, more access that way, and the conversations do get good over on Discord. So join us there. You can also support this show on Patreon at patreon.com/Tasha Pierce. I have got absolutely nothing else. So I will see you in the next one. Peace.